What's good, everybody? It's the Clown with Cap Show. NFL Week 9, my Indianapolis Colts lost yet again. But on the flip side for the Colts is we did fire our head coach, Frank Reich. I think this was the best move for the Indianapolis Colts organization. And I thought for sure they should have did this like last year when they lost the last two games of their regular season just to win one to get into the playoffs. I thought they should have hit the restart button months ago. But hey, it's a fresh start for the Colts. I think the only thing with the Colts is we can't get any more worse, right? I mean, Sam Ehlinger sacked 9 times against the Patriots. I mean, dude, like, it's crazy. I mean, this was pretty much a lock game for me. I went with the New England Patriots. My 1 o'clock games basically all hit, every single one, except the Jets and Bills, which is crazy. But I think for the New England Patriots, I mean, they got our number. They really do. Mac Jones, 147 yards passing and a touchdown. Stevenson, 60 yards. I just think, the Patriots had a great game plan defensively, and that was the difference maker of this game. And really, the Colts had no answer. It was 26-3. I just think the Colts offensively, it's been terrible. It's been terrible for so long. Even the last 2 weeks of last season with Carson Wentz, it was not good. It wasn't at all. I mean, obviously, Jonathan Taylor didn't play this game. I think he will be back, but I think really the Colts will start to get better. I truly believe that. Now, will they make the playoffs like I predicted before week 1? Probably not. That's the reality of Indianapolis Colts, that they will miss the playoffs this year, and really it's going to be another long offseason as well. It's just like I want to see the Colts. They need to get a young quarterback. They need to hit that restart button and really go from there. But for Jeff Saturday, filling in as head coach, I think that's great for Colts. I really do. Jeff Saturday played with the Colts most of his career. He won a Super Bowl with the Indianapolis Colts. He's a champion, and I can see Jeff Saturday becoming the head coach, for years to come. I really do. He's built that winning culture with Peyton Manning. He knows how to win games. So I think this is great for Colts fans. I think Colts fans should be like, kind of like in a way blessed to say, hey, Jeff Saturday's our head coach right now. Let's see what's going to happen. I think, Jeff Saturday understands what are my goals here. My goals obviously are to win first and foremost, and build this organization up like it used to be, okay, with Peyton and Jeff Saturday, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, those guys, okay, the Hall of Famers, the legends of this sport, man. That's what built up the Colts. So I think Jeff Saturday will continue to build the Colts. I think it's going to be great. I'm thinking optimistic about Jeff Saturday. He understands football. It's going to be interesting to see, but I think Jeff Saturday will become our head coach for years to come. That's just my prediction. I just say that because I think Jeff Saturday, his IQ of the game is great, man. He's like the Peyton Manning, but obviously he was a center, but he knew what was going on. Him and Peyton, man, they were boys together, so I think this is great for the Colts, and I can see the Colts really turning around even right now. I really can. So I think this is great for the Colts organization. Shout out to Jeff Saturday. I can't wait to see what's going to held next for the Colts, but a big win by the New England Patriots. And then we had the LA Rams versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I went Buccaneers with this one, and hey, let me tell you, this game was crazy. 13-9, under a minute to go in the fourth quarter. We had Brady have the ball, and what was best was Brady led it, man. This was probably his biggest game yet right now in his regular season career, because if they lose this game against the Rams, they're looking on the outside in saying, dude, we're not going to be on the top of our division. We're going to be on the outside looking in and barely squeaking in the playoffs. This was a playoff game for Tom Brady, as far as I understand, man. I'm telling you, this was huge. 280 yards and a touchdown, game-winning touchdown late in the game with 9 seconds left to beat the Rams. That beat them, for the playoffs to get into the Super Bowl. So I think this was a huge win by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think Tom Brady needed this win most, man. Now they're 4-5 tied at their division. I think they might even be a half game ahead right now, which is crazy. They're under 500, but I could see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers squeaking in the playoffs this year still. I really can. Mike Evans coming around at the right time. They're starting to get a little bit more healthy, even though they're banged up. But I do see Tampa Bay getting into this playoffs. I really do. Even as a wild card. I mean, Philadelphia Eagles do not want to face Tom Brady and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I truly believe that. Even though they're undefeated right now, that'd be a tough matchup. For undefeated Philly, let's say they go undefeated and they play against Tom Brady in the playoffs. They do not want to do that, dude. Nobody wants to do that, okay? Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowls, dude. Like, that'd be ignorant to say, yeah, we want Tom Brady. We want him. Really? You guys want that? You guys want that smoke? Okay, I can't wait. I hope we see that in the playoffs. I can see that game being a legendary game. That's just really a prediction. But, shout out to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. For the Rams, on the flip side, it's just like, man, Stafford just one touchdown to obviously his boy Cooper Kupp, 127 yards receiving and a touchdown. Cooper Kupp does his own thing, man. Best receiver in the league by far. It's amazing, but I just think the Rams right now, it's crazy. Like, you guys just won the Super Bowl now, 3-6 this year right now. I can't believe it, dude. I really can't. Like, we're literally going to be talking about the Rams missing the playoffs. Like, dude, that is crazy to me. That's unreal. I think for the Rams and Sean McVay, you guys got to turn your season around right now. Like, this is the time. Like, you guys cannot win the Super Bowl, miss the playoffs the next year. That'd be embarrassing. It really would. But, you know, for the Rams, they must turn around their season right now. And then we got the LA Chargers versus Atlanta Falcons. I picked the Chargers in this matchup. This was really down to the wire. You know, we saw Cameron Dicker hit the game-winning field goal as time expires for the Chargers. Everybody goes crazy. Justin Herbert, 245 yards passing, a touchdown and a pick. Eckler, 47 yards rushing and a touchdown. And this was a nail-biter. It really was. I mean, Atlanta had a couple opportunities to win. We saw what they did, but it was all Chargers, man. You know, Cameron Dicker, man, hey, big, huge kick. And that's what kickers are paid to do in the big leagues here in the NFL, is to make kicks like these. Make kicks that you're supposed to make to win the game. And some of these games that you're winning in close games, you're going to look down at the end of the year and say, circle some of these games and say, hey, this was the game that we had to win to get in the playoffs. That's what they're going to circle. So I think the Chargers, they're on the winning path. So big win by the Chargers. I can't wait, man. This is going to be good. And then we got the Miami Dolphins versus the Chicago Bears. I picked Miami Dolphins. This was a really close one, dude. A huge one. For them, for the Dolphins, man, they put up numbers. You know, shout out to Tua, over 300 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. Huge game. Tyreek Hill, 143 yards. Receiving and a touchdown. I mean, Tyreek Hill, man, it's crazy that Kansas City can still have Tyreek Hill right now. Isn't that insane? Like, dude, if they had Tyreek Hill, Kansas City, they'd probably be undefeated right now. Even though, yeah, a lot of people like to say, oh, it's not that much of a difference. Stop it, dude. Tyreek Hill's the fastest dude in the NFL and really probably the hardest guy to guard one-on-one in the open field. Like, yeah, straight up. So I think Miami getting this close victory, 35-32. Justin Fields, 123 yards and 3 touchdowns. 178 yards rushing. I mean, Justin Fields will have one of his best games, you know, and yet they still lost this game at home. This was a close game. This was probably the best game all weekend for sure. But, you know, big win by the Dolphins, man. Tua back in that groove. I just don't want to see Tua get another big hit and get out for a while. I don't want to see that, but big win by the Dolphins. And then we got the Carolina Panthers versus the Cincinnati Bengals. It was all Bengals in this matchup with the blowout. Baker, 155 yards passing and 2 touchdowns, and that was basically it. Joe Burrow, 206 yards passing and a touchdown. But the difference for Cincinnati was the run game and Joe Mixon. 153 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. I mean, what more can you want from a running back, dude? 4 touchdowns. Shout out to Joe Mixon. Definitely player of the week. And then we got T. Higgins, 7 receptions, 60 yards. It was all Cincinnati. And I wanted to see Cincinnati like this last week against the Browns. You know, I was way off, but this week, this was, you know, easy win for the Bengals. We're looking at the Carolina Panthers that are banged up. Baker Mayfield's looking trash. So this was an easy pick. Probably the easiest pick all weekend, in my opinion. So big win by the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow. And then we got the Green Bay Packers versus the Detroit Lions. I told you this was my upset pick of the week. I had them in Washington. I was wrong with Washington, but a huge win by the Detroit Lions. Why did I go Lions? Because Green Bay's trash. And really, Aaron Rodgers does not have the weapons that he's used to having. He just doesn't anymore. He just doesn't. I mean, 3 interceptions for Aaron Rodgers. I released him. I traded him off my fantasy squad. I'm done with Rodgers, man. I'm done. Even though he's one of the most skillful NFL quarterbacks that the game has seen. But this year, he's not playing like it, dude. And the Green Bay Packers, their organization is playing trash, dude. It's embarrassing, really. It really is. Allen Lazard, 87 yards receiving and a touchdown. But, you know, Lions got the close victory. Jared Goff, 137 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. And this was all Lions here. I went Lions because I thought they were the better team, even though they didn't have as many wins as Green Bay. I'm looking at Green Bay right now, looking at Aaron Rodgers and saying, look, they just don't got it. They don't, man. They don't have the hunger. They don't have the passion. They don't have the ambition right now. And I just think right now Green Bay's throwing in the white flag and saying, hey, let's get better draft picks and wait till next year because I just don't see it, man. I don't see it. I think this is one of the worst losses of Aaron Rodgers' career, man, against the Detroit Lions, and he owns the Lions and the Bears. Like, this is crazy. So Aaron Rodgers losing, this is a huge deal, and that's why I went against them, because I just don't see it this year in the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. I don't see it at all. So big win by the Detroit Lions. And then we got the Buffalo Bills versus the New York Jets. The biggest upset all week in the Jets beating the Bills, man. I did not see this coming. I did tell you guys 11.5, 12 points was way too much. Why? Because of Zach Wilson. Because he could throw the ball out in the way the New York Jets like to play, dude. That line was way too fluky for me. So I think if people went the whole spread with the Bills, you guys are dumb to do that, dude. That was ignorant. Really ignorant, but the Jets got the dub, man. Zach Wilson, 154 yards passing and a touchdown. Garrett Wilson, 8 receptions, 92 yards. I mean, but Josh Allen did his own thing. He did get hurt with an elbow injury. I don't really know much on that. They definitely need Josh Allen. Obviously without Josh Allen getting closer to the playoffs, that's it, dude. The Bills are not going to go anywhere without Josh Allen, so they need him healthy. Stephon Diggs, 5 receptions, 93 yards. But I think the Jets, man, they had a great game plan coming into this game, and really they put pressure on Josh Allen, caused him to do some silly stuff that typically Josh Allen doesn't do, but this was a great game, man, and I think this is any given Sunday. Anything can happen, man. It really is. So I just think it's amazing to me what they do on each Sunday. It's the different matchup, but for the Bills right now, this was a reality check to say, hey, you guys aren't invisible. You guys aren't, what you so-called the greatest, best team right now. Pump the brakes here. This was a reality check. You guys just lost to the New York Jets, which are a nice, solid team this year. That I'm very surprised. They're probably the most surprising team right now. The New York Jets and how trash the Green Bay Packers are. They're definitely surprising, but a huge win by the Jets, man. The Bills, they need Josh Allen fresh and healthy, or else it's going to be a long, long rest of the season for the Bills. But I think Josh Allen will be back. I'm not really worried about that. And then we got the Minnesota Vikings versus the Washington Commanders. I picked the Washington Commanders with the upset. This was a close game, but it didn't happen. Kirk Cousins actually balled out this year. 265 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Justin Jefferson, his boy, 7 receptions, over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. I mean, typical Justin Jefferson, man. He's just a baller, dude. That's what he is, man. And I think Kirk Cousins having Justin Jefferson, if he didn't have Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins would be out of Minnesota right now. I think Justin Jefferson is saving Kirk Cousins, man. How talented he is, how he just gets separation from the cornerbacks and the safeties. It's crazy, dude. He's so talented. Justin Jefferson, top 3 receiver in the league, hands down. Taylor Heinicke had a good game, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 149 yards passing, but it wasn't enough. And I think Minnesota, it showed why they only have 1 loss this year. They're legit, man. Dalvin Cook's legit. Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins, they're looking solid. Minnesota's looking like a solid team right now. They're looking like the most solid team to really go up against anybody, even the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think Minnesota is definitely a team to watch and say, look, they're here. They have arrived, and shout out to Kirk Cousins. He's the real deal right now. And then we got the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. I picked the Jacksonville Jaguars in this pick, and it hit, man. It hit for sure. I went against the Raiders because they haven't done anything this year, man. It's truly sad that the Las Vegas Raiders are this terrible right now. And they got a stacked team. Devontae Adams, 146 yards, receiving and 2 touchdowns. Derek Carr, man, 259 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. But you got Trevor Lawrence balling out. 2 touchdowns one touchdown for Trevor Lawrence and 235 yards passing. Travis Etienne, man, 2 touchdowns, 109 yards rushing. That's the difference, man. What's the ground game for Jacksonville? That's why I went Jacksonville, because I think the Raiders were not that good, man. They're just not. They surprised me a lot, because I can't believe that the Raiders really are doing some of these things where it's like, how, man? How are you guys, losing these games? And you guys should be winning, man. You guys have so much talent, yet nothing to show for it. That's disappointing for me, and I feel bad for Derek Carr. It's just crazy, but big win by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Shout out to Trevor Lawrence, man. That's why I picked them. And then we got the Seattle Seahawks versus the Arizona Cardinals. I picked Arizona at home with Kyler Murray. It made sense to me that Arizona would win, with DeAndre Hopkins, but that wasn't the case. Kyler Murray, 2 touchdowns, 175 yards passing, but it wasn't enough. And Seattle they ran all over Arizona's defense, and really, Geno Smith, man, we got to give a shout out to Geno Smith, because nobody's really talking about Geno Smith, how good he is playing this year, dude. He's playing probably one of the most solid quarterbacks this year, yet nobody talks about Geno Smith. That's crazy to me. Nobody talks about Seattle right now. 275 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick for Geno. A solid game. Tyler Lockett balled out. Kenneth Walker on my fantasy squad, 109 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. I mean, it was all Seattle right here. It was all Seattle, and I just think, man, looking at it right now, it's just like, hold up, man. How is Seattle really this legit, man? And it starts with their defense and Pete Carroll. We got to give him a shout out, man. I think Seattle's something else right now, and they're surprising a lot of people because when Russell Wilson left, everybody was like, "Hey, Seattle's done. It's over for them. That's it. It's a wrap." But it wasn't though. Seattle's nice, man. Shout out to Seattle Seahawks. Arizona on the outside looking in right now, but a huge win by the Seattle Seahawks on the road. And then we got the overtime game on Sunday Night Football. Tennessee Titans versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I told you guys to go Kansas City money line. It hit in overtime. But, the 12.5-point spread, dude, that is way too much. That's giving so much credit to the Kansas City Chiefs and less credit to Derrick Henry, which 115 yards and 2 touchdowns. A typical game for Derrick Henry. Best running back in the league by far. And then you got Malik Willis filling in for Ryan Tannehill. He went 5 for 8 for 80 yards. Kind of quiet game, but that's really Tennessee. All they had was the run game for Derrick Henry. And that's all they really needed to stop was Kansas City, even though they really couldn't. Patrick Mahomes, 446 yards passing, a touchdown and a pick. And then you have his boy Travis Kelce, 10 receptions, over 100 yards receiving. I mean, Kansas City, they're going to be the biggest threat for the Buffalo Bills. They are. Absolutely. The Baltimore Ravens, all those teams, they are definitely a huge threat. Kansas City, they can run it deep. We saw. We know what they can do, okay? They can put up big numbers. Now, Tennessee on the flip side, we will expect Ryan Tannehill to be back. Derrick Henry, what he does. They're going to win out in their division. I can see Tennessee Titans because, the Colts are trash. Jacksonville's not that good. So I see Tennessee coming out on top on their division. But this was a huge win by Kansas City. At home, this was a game they needed to win. Without Ryan Tannehill, their starting quarterback, this was a must-win game for Patrick Mahomes in the Kansas City Chiefs. So big win. I told you guys to go Kansas City money line. It hit. It cashed out. Get rich or die trying like 50. Big win by Kansas City. And then we got the Baltimore Ravens versus the New Orleans Saints on Sunday Night Football. I went Baltimore Ravens. Why? Because of Lamar Jackson. 133 yards passing and a touchdown. Kenyon Drake, difference maker. 93 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns for that Baltimore run game. And really, it was all Ravens here. 27-13, I think the final score was. Andy Dalton, 210 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. But this was a huge win by the Ravens. On the road, you guys are 6-3 now going into your bye week. I think this is huge for the Ravens because, to give up some rest for Lamar and really some adjustments and say, hey, we're 6-3 right now. We're sitting nice. If we continue to win big games, we will make the playoffs this year. That's the biggest thing for the Baltimore Ravens. Just make the playoffs with Lamar Jackson. It doesn't matter what seed you guys are in the playoffs. Just get into the playoffs. And I think for Lamar, that's really going to boost his contract that they couldn't negotiate over this offseason. And really, Baltimore, they need that. They need Lamar Jackson because without Lamar Jackson, where are they going to go to? Lamar's really their only guy right now. So I think Lamar's the biggest number one guy for the Baltimore Ravens organization right now. And I think when they get into the playoffs this year, it's going to be interesting to say, hey, for Lamar, hey, it's Super Bowl or bust for you right now. That's what it is. So huge win by the Ravens. But obviously, one of the biggest upsets that I picked right was definitely Detroit Lions over the Green Bay Packers. I'm so excited for that, man. I saw it coming. Green Bay's trash. And my Indianapolis Colts, they need to turn it around, man. They got to. It's never too late, but my Indianapolis Colts, they got to do something. Take off Jazz Saturday. Take off Indianapolis Colts. It's the Clouded with Cam show. Let's go!